Welcome to another guide of tips and tricks on how to beat the Super Operation Critter Fortress. Now this game mode is a one of a kind. Just like Triple Treat and Gigabytes, this Super Operation also has a third enemy. But unlike Triple Treat and Gigabytes, where Triple Treat focuses on the modifier having 3 zones instead of 2, and Gigabytes focuses on having a new strong prototype troops for both teams to try and capture, Critter Fortress focuses on the aspect of the critters attacking your base, which inspires more strategies than normal. However, although this might sound good on paper where critters attacking waves and your team have to defend, you have to remember that you also have to worry about defending as well as making sure your team can take out the enemy base. This might be too much for new players who are just getting too used to the game. Adding on to this, the most important aspect that makes this game mode or map the worst map most top players think exists currently is the Giga Critters spawning at both 1 minute left and when overtime hits. The thing that makes most players not want to play the game is the fact that the Giga Critter does not have a clear passing and can easily be lured to one base, which I will explain how to do later. Obviously, this game mode is designed to have one Giga Critter to go to each base, but defending a single Giga Critter, 6 landing pods, and the attacking enemy is bad enough. Can you imagine defending an extra Giga Critter? With skilled players on the other team, the chance of defending your base in this situation is almost zero, which is why seeing this map in rotation almost want to make players stop playing the game. If you are wondering what are the stats of the Giga Critters, like how much damage it deals, I've detailed it in my other video on a guide on how to beat Gigabytes. Basically, this game mode has a ton of RNG, and in my opinion, if that was fixed, then this game mode will be playable and fun. Enough ranting about the downside of the game mode. Now let's talk about how this map works so we can find a way on how to increase our chances of winning. We start off with 2 HQs built by the third enemy with 2 defenses built and 1 critter defending each base, as well as having 1 critter in the middle of the base. The first wave of critters spawn at the 3 minute mark, where 4 critter landing pods spawn towards the middle of the base. The second wave of critters spawn at the 2 minute mark with 6 landing pods around the center of the base and 4 in the middle of the map. And the third wave spawns at the 1 minute mark and has 2 Giga Critters spawn in the center and 4 critter pods between the base and our spawn. The fourth wave is the same as the third wave, but it spawns at 1 minute 50 seconds into overtime. Keep in mind that each landing pod at level 9 deals 350 damage and spawns 4 level 9 mini critters, so when they are left alone, let's just say that's a lot of damage dealt. Now that we know how this game mode works, we can start analyzing the best ways to play this game. Since the game starts with 2 HQs built, this means that any troop can be viable here. Attack troops like Zuko can be used for attacking the defenses and acquiring munitions quickly. Defense troops or zone troops like Assault can be used to take out the enemy troops when they are distracted, so capping the zones will be easier when the HQ is taken out, and the support troops can support the attack and defense troops. Now there are 2 bases to go to. Which one should you go to? The one you should go to should be the one most of your team is going to, so your team has a higher chance of capturing the zone. Even if the enemy has more people going to the zone, the defenses and your troops on your team should be able to take out their team. And unlike normal operations, this map is hard to double cap because of the critter in the middle, which separates the 2 bases. This means that it takes too much time to take down the critter and reach the enemy base. And when the bases are built, there is going to be constant critter waves, which keeps everyone busy on defense, allowing almost no time for double caps. However, double caps are the best way to make sure there are no RNG in this game mode. So if you want to try to double cap, grab a squad split push, which is try and have 1 person go to one side and 2 go to the other side to try and get both zones. Most likely this won't happen because of the strong defense and enemy troops. So let's talk about when our team captures one zone and the enemy captures the other zone. When you take control of one zone, you should be around at the 3-minute 30 mark. This means that the first wave is going to arrive in 30 seconds, which means that your best option is to build defense and defend the upcoming wave. However, what happens if you died while capturing the zone? You should go and apply pressure to the enemy base as an attack troop like Zuka. If you do this, you should be able to do good damage to their defenses or base, which can help both your team and the attacking critters take down their base in the future. But obviously only do this if you have enough people defending your zone, which would be at least 3 to 4 people defending. When you capture the zone at the beginning, this is one of the only times not to buy a vehicle, as in this situation, vehicles are basically useless. Heavy damage vehicles like tank and tank hunter will miss 80% of the time because of the small hitboxes. Splash damage vehicles like scorchers will be swarmed and circled by the critters, which will make it hard for them to take out the mini critters, and high health vehicles such as 4x4s will be constantly chipped down by the mini critters. This means that vehicles are a waste of munition. Instead of wasting the health, either deal with the critters as your infantry troop and then continue defending, or defend with the infantry troop first until the infantry troop's health is low. So then you can buy a vehicle to save the health that would have been lost if you bought the vehicle immediately. At the 30-minute mark, there should be 2 situations. Your base is still built and healthy, or your base is taken down. First, let's talk about when the base is taken down. If your base is taken down, you want your whole team to come and recap, because there's no point trying to take down the enemy base when the mini critters will be distracting them. So you'll have the chance to recap and possibly have a higher defense in them. When the base is recapped, you want to build defenses for the second wave at 2 minutes, just like you did at the beginning of the game. Now let's talk about when we still have the base after the first wave. So now that you have defended your base, you should have 3 to 4 people keep defending the base, as the enemy is going to attack as well as the relentless critter waves. The rest of the team should continue attacking the other base. If possible, this is a good time to buy a vehicle, because when you get to the other side as a vehicle, you can distract the enemy just as the second wave spawns at 2 minutes. So the mini critters can deal damage to HQ and defenses, and the rest of your team can clean up the base. If they decide to focus on the mini critters, your team can destroy most of the front defenses, and in the next push, the base should be easily destroyed. This is why when you are defending, you should split the workforce equally. This is, have 2 people try to take out the mini critters, and have the other 2 people try to take out the enemy troops. This situation at the 2-minute mark is the ideal and final chance to double cap, because it will take around 30 to 40 seconds to double cap, but if the enemy stalls long enough, the Giga Critters will spawn, and they will stall the zone now, and now you have a problem, since the enemy will push your built base, and the Giga Critter has the control over the other uncapped base. We will talk about strategies for preparing for the third wave later. So now let's continue talking about when we attack them during the second wave. If the enemy is good, your push should be easily defended, but not without your team dealing good damage. Here most of your team should be dead, and the rest of the attackers that survived should retreat to defend. Hopefully you now have 5 to 6 people defending to prepare for the Giga Critters, and the other 3 people should attack to chip down their defenses to prepare for this third wave, which will devastate the enemy if they have no defenses. When the 1-minute mark is reached, the Giga Critter will spawn, and 4 Critter pods will spawn at each team's spawn. So this means that all you need to do is defend the Giga Critters, since the mini critter will distract the enemy. Now this is why you should have 5 to 6 people defend. This is so you can make sure your defenses take minimal damage when the enemy is attacking before the wave starts. And when the wave starts, or when the Giga Critter spawns, all 6 defenses can work together to create a perfect defense against the Giga Critter. If this happens, the Giga Critter will be destroyed in seconds, and the defense now can focus on the enemy troops when they come after the Giga Critter. Since the enemy defenses should be low, The attackers can now attack with attacking troops or vehicles to finish them off. And when the final wave of Giga Critters spawn at 1 minute 50 seconds in overtime, it should be 99% a win, as you can easily defend while they cannot. But let's talk about what happens in the 1% of the time. And there's a chance to lure both Giga Critters to one base. This strategy is really hard to pull off, and when failed, the price is costly. Now let's actually talk about how to do this strategy. To do this, you want to have a group of people or a vehicle with decent health stand to the cover near the middle, face towards the other side, the side of the base you want to lure it to. For example, if you want to lure both critters to point A, stand against the cover facing towards point A. When the Giga Critter spawns, lure the one behind you over to the other side by slowly kiting it or walking to the other side. By doing this, your team should have enough health to lure both critters over, but your team will die. This is why if this suicide mission fails and the Giga Critter comes over to your side, your team will have a lower chance of defending. But if you die and both Giga Critters is lured to the other side, their defenses will have a hard time to defend both Giga Critters. And the people who just died can go and attack to help finish off their HQ, so your team can win. If this happens, the defense will also have an easy time in defending your own base, because all they need to defend is a few mini critters and the enemy troops. Another thing you should keep in mind is that there will be bots that will do what you want to do, such as stay in the middle towards your side, and that might lure them over. But one thing that will happen for sure is the enemy will try to attack you when they know what you are doing. This is why you should do it in groups of people or vehicles, so that you can control the middle to lure the Giga Critters over. Now let's look at some gameplay to help visualize these tips. Let's hop into a match. So boom cannon is going to be really good for countering the Giga Critters. The first I'm going to go Zuka, so I can get easy munition at the very beginning to build defenses. Looks like it's a 5v5 here. So you can see one shot from my Zuka gives me 54 munitions. And I have this booster which even gives me even more. So you can see I already have 1,200 munitions, around 1,400. That's enough to build around the same base. And now we have 30 seconds to prepare for the critters. So I'm hoping I can build the sniper tower. But I don't think I can. This guy build it. So I'm gonna build a flamethrower. So you have good defenses built. So when the critter comes, we can defend it. We have 5 out of 6. See how quick it gets melted. Yeah, of course there's more from the middle, but that's gonna be easy to defend now. We got rid of the pods. So now I'm gonna save for Scorcher. Well, I'll build this first. And then now I'm gonna save for Scorcher. Now I got all our defenses up. Keep defending until I have the Scorcher. Hopefully I can get it at 1 minute 20. Okay, so I died. So now I'm gonna attack with Firebomber. So we have a real person defending, so A should be good. So now we can deal pressure. Looks like no one's defending on their side. So hopefully we can take it out. So if we take it out, we can stall for 30 seconds for the Gear Critters to come. So all we have to do is defend A. And that's the plan. And if they manage to take out A, I could always get a Scorcher. Then I'm gonna go defend B. No, to go defend A. Because it looks like there's gonna be a Geo Critter going there, and then the other one is gonna stall B. So when the Scorcher dies, I'll grab the Scorcher. See how the Geo Critter on the other side 1v7, and now this Geo Critter is low, so we can easily take it out. And we have a Scorcher on the other side, so this should be easily won, unless somehow we throw. Yeah, now we have control of both sides. Because before the Geo Critters spawn, we had control of both zones because we were constantly attacking them and we were well defended, which resulted in this quick double cap near the end of the game. If you have followed this guide on how to beat Critter Fortress, you have a decent chance at beating the other team. Hopefully an increased chance than before. But the one thing you must remember when playing this map is defense is the best offense. I hope you enjoyed this guide on how to beat Critter Fortress, and have a nice day.